Hey everyone, it's Whit with NatureHealth.com. I'm going to make a bold statement. Raspberries are the best kind of fruit to grow. Now, I know, you're thinking, Whit, why on earth do you say that? Listen, they can be kept small and compact if you'd like. They don't need a pollinating partner, and you shouldn't have to fuss much about the soil pH. Don't have room for a tree? Plant a raspberry. Don't want to test the soil to make sure that it's perfectly formulated? Plant a raspberry. Don't want to worry about coming back to plant again and again year after year? You guessed it, plant a raspberry. The only downside is that you may find yourself in a heated battle with the birds over who gets the berries. But that's easily managed and something you probably have to worry about with other fruit anyways. Now that I've convinced you that raspberries are the way to go, you probably want to know which to plant. There are red, yellow, and blackberry options, not to be confused with blackberries, an entirely different kind of berry plant. I'll list off 5 of our favorites here that our head horticulturist helped pick out. Number 5, Layem Raspberry. Layem is a tried, true, and trusted berry bush that has been heavily recommended to Midwest and northern states for years, which makes sense since it was developed in Minnesota. White spring blossoms quickly turn into large, pointed red berries you'll find yourself eating right from the bush. Layem is a floricane variety, meaning it produces fruit on old canes grown from the previous year, so be careful when pruning. Number 5, Layem Raspberry. Growing zones 3 through 8, large red berries, great for northern and Midwest gardens. Number 4, Bushel and Berry Raspberry Shortcake Raspberry. This one is for the apartment dwellers and small space owners. Bushel and Berry proudly promotes this raspberry shortcake as the perfect container berry plant. Fit it perfectly into your patio or snugly into a spot in the back garden. Either way, enjoy the pretty white spring flowers, then the midsummer harvest of red berries that follows. Make sure to prune this floricane after it fruits to make sure you don't get rid of any berry-producing branches before reaping the benefits. Number 4, Bushel and Berry Raspberry Shortcake Raspberry. Growing zones 5 through 9, thrives in small spaces while producing delicious red berries. Number 3, Fall Gold Raspberry. If red isn't your thing, I suggest trying Fall Gold. Like the name implies, the white blooms turn into a stunning and exotic-feeling golden berry. They have roughly the same flavor profile as red raspberries, but unlike their rosy friends, Fall Gold produces 2 crops each year and is considered a primocane. Primocane raspberries produce fruit on the tips of the first year's canes each fall, and then the lower parts of those same canes the following summer. Number 3, Fall Gold Raspberry. Growing zones 4 through 8, unique yellow berries and ever-bearing primocane variety. Number 2, Bristol Black Raspberry. Again, not to be confused with a blackberry, although they do look really similar, Bristol is a raspberry bush that produces juicy, black-colored raspberries. They're known for their high sugar levels and fruity flavor, which makes them great for jams, jellies, and freezing whole. Of course, this is if you have the willpower not to eat them straight from the bush. One thing to note, if you're wanting to mix and match raspberries, red and black raspberry bushes should be planted away from each other as they can host diseases and easily contaminate each other. Number 2, Bristol Black Raspberry. Growing zones 4 through 8 with gorgeous round black berries. And number 1, Heritage Raspberry. We'll round out our list of 5 with the classic red-berried Heritage. As a primocane, this fan favorite produces loads of berries throughout the summer and fall. Try canning up a classic-looking raspberry jam or a syrup to pour over pancakes or sprinkle a few in with your cereal or dessert. This vigorously growing shrub won't need stakes or support in order to grow large enough to supply you with more than enough berries, and maybe even an extra few to share with the birds. Number 1, Heritage Raspberry. Growing zones 4 through 8, strong and sturdy, and produces the classic fan favorite red berries. Raspberries are a superior fruit to plant in your garden. Do you have a favorite variety here, or are you already the proud owner of one? Let me know your favorites down in the comments. I'm all for fruit that takes next to no effort, and if you happen to find yourself wondering when to prune your raspberry bush, come on over and read our #ProPlantTips blog, How and When to Prune Raspberry and Blackberry Bushes. I'll link it down in the description below. If you like our content, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to our page. If you'd like more plant info and inspo, take a look over at our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest pages. And until next time, happy planting!